Monica here. Data quality quack for today is validity. Validity relates to if data conforms to the syntax of its definition. So basically here that phone numbers can't include letters. One way to make sure that this happens is to use business rules. So configure your systems in a way where you define the data type for the certain data that you are collecting. Now, before we get into more examples, let's go ahead and grab our daily duck. Today is the 13th. All right. What do we have here? Ah, this is cute. Look at his adorable hat and scarf. So cute. All right. Now, speaking of configuring business rules, did you know that ducks can understand commands? Yep. They can actually play with toys, they can play games, and they can even beg for snuggles. This does take some effort from the humans as you take time to work with and train the birds to do this. But it's much like setting business rules. So that's awesome. All right, so for today's data example, we're looking at tables within dbeaver again. And for validity, again, that is if the data conforms to the syntax of its definition. So let's go ahead here, and these are just example tables that come with dbeaver. We'll look at the invoice table. Now, the main point here being that you want to define data types for the different data that you're collecting to ensure that it conforms to its definition and that you won't be collecting bad data. If you look here, invoice ID and customer ID are both integers, which looks like a legit data type for this. Invoice dates here, it does look like a date time stamp, which is a date time. You might not need the time since they're all 0, but that's another story. With a billing address here, we're defining that as a varchar with 70 characters, as well as the city. That one's smaller with 40 characters. And then here with the billing state, we also have this defined as 40 characters. You might want to consider lowering this. I do know that states like Dublin, and there are a few in Australia that have 3 that do have more than 2. So play around with that. Make sure that you aren't giving everyone the ability to input bad data is the point of defining these data types. Another thing to consider is not allowing for null values that will increase your completeness as well. And for the billing country, we have a varchar here again, 40 characters. The billing postal code I thought was interesting coming from the United States. I thought this was always numbers, but places like Canada also have letters in there, which is why that is also a varchar. And then lastly, with our total here, we have numeric, which is important if you do want to perform any math on the totals here to find out how much money you're making. All right. So with that and our duck, thank you so much. That's our data example. So if you like what you see, consider subscribing to the channel, hit that button for notifications. And for those that are watching, thank you so much and happy learning.